thoughts as you look ahead to the upcoming 2023 season? Or sorry,
Yeah,
2024 season now, I should say.
that's okay. I'm very, very excited about it. I think our group at AM Racing has really hit a stride there at the end of the season. We clicked off a couple top fives. The group we had was really meshing, and I think that's just led into the off season. And we just got done with our test down in Daytona Beach, and we had a really, really fast race car. We worked on single car runs a lot. The thing was probably the best two-way car I've ever had. I know Daytona, there's a lot that can happen, a lot of variables, but just to see the work that's gone in the off season, the belief in me as the driver from this race team, from the top, from Wade Moore, Reed Mobley, my crew chief Pickle, everybody on that team is just you can see the energy and feel the energy in the shop. I feel like something special filled in that building.
What are your thoughts as you look back on last season and as you mentioned, that end of the season stretch where you guys rattled off 5 straight top tens to complete the year?
Yeah, I mean, I was very happy with it. We had a goal that when we sat down the first couple weeks of AM racing was just run all the laps. We don't really care where they told me they don't really care where I finished. It'd be awesome to run in top five and fight for wins, but run all the laps and let's learn this year. And I thought we did a great job at that. We completed, I think, 97% of laps, the most on the circuit. I'm very proud of that. We had a DNF streak that would go on until we had a little overheating issue at the dirt track. But outside of that, I mean, we finished every single race between that one and Phoenix. So very proud of being able to do that, because you can't learn from the sidelines. You can only learn on the racetrack. And then the speed. We started at the end of the year really start to find our stride at hard tracks too. Bristol was the place where we ran up inside the top five. At the end of the race, we kind of lost the balance a little bit, but found it back at the end. Brought it home eighth out of a very strong 30 car plus field at Bristol. Salem clicked off a podium finish there, and then the finished up with a back-to-back top five run at Toledo. All difficult racetracks, and very happy to where I was frustrated in a way. I was like, man, I wish we had 10 more races because we're starting to hit our stride. So looking forward to build on that this year.
But you look forward to building on it. What do you feel that you and the team needed to work on this off season to be stronger this year?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's me. A lot of things I got to do, be a little more aggressive, have the confidence a little more to be more aggressive on the racetracks, especially restarts. Restarts are somewhere I've struggled, so that's one that's circled, and just being able to shore up a couple things, small things. I think that'll lead to those consistent top five runs, and I think we have a legitimate chance to run for a championship this year. Looking at the people that are going to run for it, I think it's a very strong field for everybody's going to run for that title, but I'm very confident in our group and what we're bringing to the racetrack, and very excited for that. So if we can do our part, I can get back up the finishes last year, finish every race, and really focus on trying to be a little more aggressive and get this top five to click off. I think we'll have a shot to win the title.
With having raced all the tracks on the schedule now, what track are you most excited to get back to for 2024?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them that stand out. I mean, Daytona is always special. I played my last baseball game across the street there. I lived in a hotel across the street there for 2 years, or for I think a 3-month period when I lived down there for 2 years. It's where I went to my first race. So Daytona is always special. That one's circled, obviously, but Salem is probably my favorite place I'm looking forward to. When we went there, Pickle was like, "You're either gonna love it or hate it," and I was one of the guys that loved it. So worn out, have to drive the heck out of the race car. Banking is insane. You got to rip the fence up in 3 and 4. So they come off a third place on our first run ever there. I'm very optimistic there. And then I'd say Iowa's probably the second one. I think we were really strong in Iowa too. So those are 2 places I got circled. I think we can go get a win.
With knowing how Daytona is, and that just because we're touching upon it a bit here and that, with the drafting and everything, do you go into it with a sophisticated strategy in mind, or are you kind of a driver that just kind of takes it as it comes?
I think you have to have a little bit of both. I think you got to have the strategy and have like the plan on what you want to do. Like obviously, I think with it being such a short race, you're going to want to get up front and stay up front.
Right.
Group qualifying makes it a little hard because you never know what group you're going to wind up with, and timing that run to be able to start up front is always a difficult thing to do in the group qualifying the way it's set up in ARCA. But I'd say that there's all kinds of things that happen. Like last year on lap 3, we had a car that popped out of gear in front of us, and we ended up knocking our ductwork up in the nose, and we had to work on it for the first half of the race and come from the back to the front 3 different times, and ended up leading for a short period there. So you have to be ready for those scenarios. I think you just got to have a plan and then prepare to be in the chaos of it all and be able to function in the middle of all that.
With everything that you've done so far, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
I tell everybody, whether they want to laugh or whatever it is, I don't really care. My goal is to be a Cup Series champion.
Right.
5 years, my goal is to be in the Cup Series. Josh Berry, Greg Biffle, they're the kind of guys. David Rudiman that they've got there at that age around 32, 33, and that's about what that would put me at. So, would love to go click off a title here in ARCA this year, make the jump hopefully to one of the title series next year, and then run there for a couple years and have that opportunity to have a shot at Cup.
What I mean, what track do you wish was on the ARCA schedule that currently is not?
Yeah, so that's a very fun one to answer because that Pocono is my favorite place. I absolutely love Pocono. The tunnel turn is my favorite corner in all of NASCAR. I mean, it is
Okay.
extremely hairy. It's a place that you can play. You got to play chicken on when you're side by side on who's going to lift down through there. I absolutely love it. So when they took it off, that's one I wish that we had back this year.
Right.
And vice versa, I was not a big fan of Dover when I ran Dover, and of course that's the one we flipped it with for Pocono. So kind of got the double edged sword there, but Pocono, I'd say, and then honestly, something like Coda. I think Coda is a really, really cool place. Anywhere you could run where F1s run, or even the big track at Indy. I know that'd be kind of tough for a learner series, but running the Brickyard or something, that's a pretty special place to be.
Last question for you. Based on what you've been able to do, what's a piece of advice that you have to someone that's getting started that wants to one day be able to be at the stage that you are now in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I love being able to give that kind of information back. It's really just don't give up. I've been around the sport for fortunate enough. God's blessed me. The good Lord has absolutely blessed me to be in the positions I have. But you can't give up. I've had a lot of moments where sponsor deals fell apart that we didn't think we thought were locked up, and then you had to fight like crazy. Was told no for 3 years with one of our partners, and finally got that to come to fruition. So you're going to get told no. You're going to get told you don't belong here. It's all part of it. But just don't give up and keep digging. Nobody's opinion matters. The only one that matters is your race team and the people you're around. And put your best foot forward and work your tail off to stay where you're at.